Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the grand finals of the Team Liquid Legacy Star League Season 1. Elegant, I am so pumped right now.
Yeah, so am I. It's great. It's absolutely great time to be commentating Brood War. I never quite imagined I'd see a day like this, but here we are. It has happened. There's going to be some great games tonight.
Indeed there are. Now, for those of you who are unaware, we do have 3 matches in total. So we're going to be starting with the third, fourth place match between Skzlime and eOnzErG. Then we'll go on to the grand finals of the whole tournament. We're going to have Zeke versus Michael in a ZVZ. It's going to be super duper exciting. And then after that, a special bonus match that I see a lot of people are eagerly anticipating. I'm just as I glance over here at the stream chat, it's going to be a show match between the winner of the TLS, our champion, against Liquid C. That's right, the ex-pro gamer, the guy who is a complete beast in Pro League and made it far in some individual leagues as well, some actual real star leagues, OSLs and MSLs. That guy, Liquid C, is going to be playing against our foreigner champion. So that should be extremely exciting as well.
Yeah, it's going to be incredible. I mean, never mind the money. The chance to play against C is worth winning the TLS for by itself. That's just that's just absolutely incredible. We're going to see the third, as you say, the third, fourth place match first, so that's guaranteed to be good stuff. One of those guys is going to be taking home some prize money. I believe that's the structure. I don't think it's split between third and fourth.
Nope, it is $50 for third.
Yeah, $50 for third, and then these two guys, Michael and Zeke, are going to be duking out, which I'm very excited for. Zeke, of course, that incredibly consistent, high-quality player that we know and love, and Michael, the guy who can come up with literally anything. Possibly even in his eOnzErG v eOnzErG. I'm saying we've got to see a 4-pool at some point during this series.
4-pool Sunken Rush, that's how it's done. Just bust out the Quangro, just go all the way.
Exactly.
But before we get there, we do, of course, have the third, fourth place match, which is a TBZ between Skzlime and eOnzErG once again. Now, the map order, or it's going to be a best of 5, excuse me, and the map order is going to be the same as in the semifinals and in the round of 8. Not going to go too crazy there. So if we have a look here, the first map should be very familiar by now, is going to be neOjade. We did actually add 2 maps to the finals, though, of course, since it is a best of 7. So you'll get to see something exciting there. But first, our nice normal map pool. Starting it off on neOjade, Skzlime versus eOnzErG. What do you think is going to happen here, Elegant?
I'm finding it a little bit difficult to call. Just the way we've seen Skzlime play, I think he's going to play a pretty standard game. It seems to me that that's where he's probably most comfortable. But I'm kind of up in the air about exactly what we're going to see from eOnzErG. Yeah,
I mean, we've seen kind of both sides of the coin from him in his previous ZVTs. Although I think on the whole he was quite aggressive. I mean, when he took out Nemu in the round of 8, round of 8. I mean, 2 of those were essentially mutiling all-ins, just off the 2 bases.
That's true.
So, so yeah, definitely gonna probably see some aggressive stuff.
Yeah, and thinking about the map as well, I think it does lend itself quite well to some decent aggression. So yeah, I hope that we'll see that out of eOnzErG anyway, because of course it's exciting to watch. But Skzlime, if he does of course opt to play standard, then that could work fairly well for him, because I think he does have the strength to take on eOnzErG. Maybe he didn't have the strength to take on our other finalists, but I think he can definitely take on eOnzErG in a straight up game if he makes sure.
Here's the thing for me is that in the round of 8. Skzlime took out South Park, and South Park, of course, known for being a very aggressive player. I mean, he 9-pooled 2 out of their 3 games, right? And Skzlime basically showed, I know exactly what to do if you're just going to go crazy aggressive against me, and he took out South Park 3-0. So if eOnzErG does try that kind of thing, I'm not sure how well it's going to work against Skzlime. Although, again, Michael did actually do kind of a similar style and did take him out 3-0.
Yeah, but nobody can do it like Michael. We know nobody can do it like Michael. He's just he's the absolute undisputed cheese king. So I wouldn't be surprised to see eOnzErG go for some aggressive stuff, but I'm thinking maybe that might play to Skzlime a little bit with the way we've seen him in earlier rounds.
Will be interesting to see what he comes up with. So with that, are you ready to go into game number 1?
I am absolutely ready.
All right, here we go. Alright, here we are in game number 1 at the top left as the yellow Terran. We have SAS Skzlime at the top right as the orange Zerg. We have IFU eOnzErG.
Yes, we do indeed. On this momentous occasion, we are on the final day of the first TLS, and this is good times. Not only because we're going to witness who takes home the third, who takes home the final, who wins in this show match, but also, of course, we're going to get ready to move on to the next one. There are, of course, don't forget, going to be more TLS than just this one. So this is only the beginning of a great thing, and I want everyone to bear that in mind, that there's going to be plenty more like this to come. This only decides the victor for the first one. There's going to be plenty more to battle it out for these guys, culminating in one huge epic championship, of course. But yeah, the order of the day for now is the 3rd and 4th place match. So, we have Mr. Heroic Terran player up here in the top left corner, not showing anything crazy as of yet. Looks like we're not going to have any early racks action for him or anything like that. Meanwhile, over from eOnzErG, up at the top right-hand corner, what are we seeing?
We have a 9-pool here, Elegant. Oh, man, eOnzErG. 9-pooling. Man, South Park showed us that that is not a good idea against Skzlime. Skzlime, you know, holding off all of South Park's 9 pools, easy peasy. Although having said that, Skzlime did in fact kind of blind counter it with an in-base 2 racks in both of those cases, and I don't know if he's going to do that against eOnzErG. At least he is going to build the 1 barracks in his base, but it's so unusual to build the second one. You really have to kind of basically put your opponent on doing a 9 pool or possibly an overpool build for that to even be worth it.
Yeah, I think that the 9 pool might be quite good on this map though, because of course we do have the reverse ramps, so that can make a pretty major difference when it comes to defending this kind of thing. Skzlime has to be really on the ball. Also, his SimCity I don't think is going to help him out particularly if there are lings in his base. I think he might, and he won't have time to move the barracks, of course, because he needs to be pumping Marines constantly. So that could be a little bit of an issue if the lings do actually get all the way down that ramp. But he's going to have to be pretty careful about blocking. Sends his first SCV out, and he sees the Overlord on the way in, so he's going to go straight over there to the top right-hand corner. But, of course, the lings will be out already. He will see the ling timing, but he won't see much else. But that's all he needs to know for the time being. And so, yeah, it's about to be revealed, and we'll see how Skzlime responds to this. He should be able to respond quite well, because he's going to see these lings in good time, just as they come up to the top of this ramp right here.
It's quite lucky that his SCV actually saw the Overlord. I mean, if the SCV went to the bottom left and he didn't see this coming at all, it could have just been a very quick GG there. But for the moment, let's see how he responds. Is he going to bunker in his base, or is he going to try and block the ramp? Those are basically the 2 options here. He can pull something like 4 or 5 SCVs and put 1 Marine behind it, or just bunker his main if he doesn't feel like he has enough time. But it looks like he does, so he is going to try and just block the ramp here. Not going to go with the bunker. I think that generally is the slightly sounder option here. You don't really want to invest. No, he is actually going to make the bunker. Okay.
Yeah.
Perhaps because, as you were saying, it is a reverse ramp, so it doesn't really feel like he wants to risk that, and the Marine might, you know, get some mischance shooting uphill as well, which makes it even harder to defend. So he's in fact just going to bunker in his main base. He's got 2 Marines out already, going for the academy straight away, as you can see. This bunker timing, though, is very, very, very close. It needs a couple more seconds before it will finish, and barely finishing in time. So now the lings do have to back up. But as you said, I think this barracks is going to be slightly out of range if the lings attack it, but no, it looks like eOnzErG is just going to pull back now.
Yeah, I think the barracks is just about close enough, maybe, although those lings can still be a little bit of a problem. He's going to have to do some Marine micro in order to fend those off. Of course, you can just kind of hop that back if the lings start to get too close, get back to cover of that bunker. A second barracks going down now as well, so Skzlime going to try and really pump out some units to at least retain presence of his natural, I'd imagine. But it's going to be his expansions looking fairly delayed right here, and his subsequent tech as well, of course. Meanwhile, over the other side of things, eOnzErG already making up his lair, so it looks like we're going to see very, very 2-hatch kind of Mutalist style right here from eOnzErG.
Indeed, it's almost certainly going to be 2-hatch Muta, and yeah, as you say, I mean, Skzlime now has been completely thrown off. I'm pretty sure he wanted to go for a 1-racks expand build the way he was saving up his money, but instead he's been forced into a 2-racks academy off of 1 base. Now, this kind of opening is not necessarily bad, especially since he did hold off the 9 pool with fairly, or basically no casualties there. He just forced to make an extra bunker and maybe lost an SCV or something. I'm not actually sure, but that definitely puts him in a good position. The question is the follow-up. You know, does he know how to follow this up? Is he okay playing the 2-racks academy off of 1 base? Given how he did against South Park, I'd imagine it's okay. I think in their 3rd game, that's actually how he transitioned against South Park's 9 pool. So presumably he has practiced this a little bit.
Yeah, it's a situation he's not unfamiliar with. I still don't feel like it's exactly ideal for him. But Stim is going to be done fairly soon, so he will be able to get out and get some decent presence. I would imagine eOnzErG is going to be forced into throwing down at least 1 or 2 sunken colonies. Yeah, it looks like we're going to have 2 creek colonies going down. Probably won't make them into sunkens right away, but he might have to, because Skzlime's pushing out with a decent number of firebats and Marines right here. So those firebats, of course, just going to blaze through any Zerglings coming at him, and very, very sensibly, eOnzErG throwing down the 3 sunken colonies. Maybe 3 is a bit much. Would he have managed with 2? Would he have been alright?
It would have been close. The funny thing is, there's only one medic here, but there's 3 fire bats, which is a slightly odd composition for this group. Usually you see 1, maybe 2 fire bats maximum, in which case, you can just make a few more Zerglings. You don't have to make this many Sunkens. I think the general principle is 1 Sunken per medic, but given the number of fire bats, it seems to be slightly thrown off. And of course, eOnzErG doesn't want to just lose the game in a silly fashion, so he's going to be safe as well. The 3 Sunkens should definitely be enough. He's even building an extra creep here. I don't really think that's necessary. It is only 2 barracks pumping here. If it was like a 3 barracks or even some kind of weird 4 barracks all in, then I could understand that. But this 4th one is absolutely overkill here. And looks like, yeah, he is going to cancel. He's going to realize that actually it's not a big deal. Maybe just making it for safety in case Skzlime did go for the bust.
Yeah, I would have thought that'd be a bit much as well. It's nice that eOnzErG decided to cancel that out, because that's actually quite damaging if you keep making buildings like that where you don't need to. Especially when you're doing a fairly edgy build such as this. He might just be able to pop out all his 6 meters right away. He won't quite have the minerals in the back possibly, but that's going to come pretty quickly. So he's going to have those meters up and running pretty quickly. The scan goes down in the main just as the spire pops. So our Terran player, of course, going to really know what's up, so he should be able to prepare very nicely for this. He's got the engineering bay already, and he's going to start throwing down missile turrets any minute now as well in order to defend that natural, in order to defend his main too. So all going fairly well so far for Skzlime after that early blip. Meanwhile, in the bottom right-hand corner, we have quite an early 3rd. Look at this from eOnzErG.
Oh, that's actually very interesting. So that means eOnzErG's actually not going to try any kind of mutiling all in like he did against Nemu. He is actually just planning for the long game. He's going to use the 2-hatch muta to just keep the Terran pressure, keep him back in his base, kind of try and catch up after the economic deficit after the opening, where his 9-pool didn't really do anything. And then just play the game from there. And I think that's very good. That was a good point you made earlier. He did only have enough minerals to build 5 mutas at the start because of how weak the economy was after the 9-pool and because he had to make 3 Sunkens. And one random drone is going somewhere here. I don't know where this guy's going. Is he just going to the bottom right? He might just be going to the bottom right. Perhaps just to take that gas very quickly, actually, now that I think about it. Doesn't want to have to wait for the hatchery to finish to make another drone, maybe. Or something like that. But anyway, looks like the mutas coming in here, doing some damage. Good number of Marines already out, and not too many mutas just yet. I think range should be, Marine range is finished as well, which is actually unusual when 2-hatch muta hits. Usually 2-hatch muta hits before range, but because it was actually a 2 racks academy opening off just 1 base, the upgrades from the academy are of course much faster.
Yeah, and it looks like actually we have a firebat chilling down the bottom right hand corner, which might be able to catch itself a drone if it kind of wakes up a little bit, but it looks like it's decided to exist in peace for now. Sniping off a medic there in the natural, nice move by eOnzErG, not taking too many hits either. His micro seems quite good so far. He's picking up SCVs at a decent enough rate. We have some links going into the bottom right hand corner to clean up that firebat, just making sure. Ooh, some decent micro there for eOnzErG. Has he gone in a bit too early right there though? It looks like he's got a little bit too excited. And taking a lot of missile turret hits, but he does manage to clean out the majority of those Marines. So Skyline's Marine count looking a little bit dodgy right now. He does have enough missile turrets to see him good for the time being, but his mobile defense not really up to scratch like it possibly might be. And now we have the Hydralisk then going down from eOnzErG as well, so he's going to transition out of this fairly smartly. But he needs to keep harassing a little bit as well, because Skyline's producing Marines quite quickly off the 3 barracks. 4 barracks about to come in now as well. So eOnzErG's going to have to stay active with those mutas for as long as he possibly can. No really chance of any kind of bust on the cards though. He's just going to have to keep this going.
That is a lot of mutas though, and he was getting +1 last time I checked. I'm not quite sure how far along that is, but whoa! A bit of a mistake here, and the micro taking a lot of damage! Oh man, losing 2 mutas and taking way more shots than he should have, but it looks like only 3 Marines left, and actually isn't going to be enough. The Marines are trying to run for the bunker, but the medics actually block them off. They aren't able to get into the bunker here, and now Ling's coming in. This is looking very reminiscent of his game against Michael, where he just didn't have enough Marines to deal with the mutas. He had enough turrets, but not enough Marines. Looks like that one firebat in the bunker actually saving him a little bit against these Lings. And Skyline kind of barely holding on, but notice he is behind in supplies at 44 supply against the however much supply, looks like 54 supply of eOnzErG. Usually Terran is supposed to be ahead in supply.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't quite sure about what eOnzErG was doing there because I wasn't sure whether he was losing too many mutas or not, but it looks like it's paid off anyway. He has managed to do plenty of damage and he doesn't look too vulnerable as a result. He's able to keep reinforcing his mutas for a little while yet while he gets his lurker tech up and running. The lurker aspect upgrade is about halfway done, so that's going to be a little way off yet, but he should be safe by the time Skzlime has any kind of map presence whatsoever. And now, crucially, there are no Marines in that bunker either, so that missile turret's going to go down, and this might give eOnzErG a little bit of a window. Oh my goodness, but eOnzErG, what are you doing? That is not the right place for mutas. He loses a lot of mutas in that engagement there. He might have just done enough, but that was pretty nasty. There are some severely damaged mutas still remaining there now as well. He might be able to do some serious damage at the natural though, with all those Marines down, losing more mutalisks in that bunker. Only with a 5-bat is going to be absolutely no use. So those mutalisks are going to be able to go to town on the southern side of that mineral line as well now, if eOnzErG can micro it correctly.
Yeah, he's making very, very expensive trades there. Of course, you know, it looks nice there running in and picking off a bunch of Marines and Medics, but you have to remember the mutas, of course, are much more expensive to make than those. The Marines and Medics pop out very, very quickly, so gotta be very, very careful when you make decisions like that. I still think it's okay what he's done so far. You know, he has taken a ton of damage, but he has also kept the Marine count very, very low here, which really puts Skzlime in a very precarious position. You notice, like, there's no defense at the front either. A bunch of Lynx could easily waltz in right now and do a ton of damage, and I think that's exactly what's going on. Lurkers as well, morphing at the natural here. Skzlime's got nothing ready to defend those. Oh man, this could be so bad. The Lurkers are just going to walk right in here. The Marines can't move up the ramp because the mutas are stopping them, and there go the Lurkers. The SCVs are in big trouble. The Marines could just get contained at the bottom of the ramp here. There's a scan, but it's too late, and the SCV is going to transfer through the Lurkers. Oh my god, losing almost all of the SCVs at his natural right there. It looks like he didn't even have that many mining at least. But still, now back down to 1 base against a 3-base Zerg.
Ouch. Yeah, that's hardly a bonus. He lost all his SCVs, but he didn't have many anyway, so it doesn't matter. Of course, that's still just awful. That's kind of a double whammy of awful. It looks like we have some Lurkers going to push down the ramp a little bit. He might try and leapfrog them down. This is maybe a little bit premature from eOnzErG, giving up a position at the top of that ramp, but it is going to cost Skzlime a lot of his Marines. It might cost him all of his Marines right here. It costs him the lion's share at the very least, and then the mutas come back in. I think what you were saying earlier about how it's been quite expensive for eOnzErG is true, but he did manage to pack up alongside it, and that's the crucial point. If he'd have been all in on those mutas and he'd have been the engagements going the way they had, then I wouldn't be so sure, but he has been able to do other things besides, so it's actually worked out for him. Just about. And it looks like Skzlime's going to try and break up the ramp again. He really hasn't got the Marine count, and he's just going to lose more Marines to those Lurkers up there. It's not looking good for the command center either. And the Marines are going to have to dart back in there and try and do some damage to these mutas, but I think Skzlime is going to be pretty nastily screwed for the remainder of this match.
Yeah, I don't really see how he's going to move up this ramp here. He's just now making his first siege tank. I don't think he has siege mode. So even though the tank can outrange the Lurkers, I mean, he's going to deal with the 50% mischance shooting uphill here. And we're going to have Defilers and soon Guardians as well coming up. So looking very, very, very grim for our Terran player.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't even have the ability to do any drops or anything like that to try and counterattack. Like if he did a drop at the bottom right, maybe it could do some nice damage. Whoa!
Oh, no.
Suicide mutas to try and take out the vessel! What the hell? They didn't even have any Scourge with them. I thought at least they would have some Scourge if he wants to bomb them.
Scourge coming in now! That's ridiculous. eOnzErG, just wait for the Scourge, man. Deary me, so eOnzErG deciding to throw in all of his mutas. So of course now he can't snipe off the siege tank when it starts sieging down his Lurkers, which is a little bit of an issue. Funnily enough, we don't actually have any siege mode on the way for Skzlime. Somewhat inexplicably.
I'm not sure if he can even afford it on 1 base. Maybe he just doesn't want to spend the gas. He's only got 2 guys mining on his main gas as well. Oh man, that's a crucial mistake. He needs that gas to make the vessels as well as get the siege tanks. Oh god, of all the times to forget a guy on your gas. He's only on 1 gas on 1 base. He is going for a drop now at the bottom right. There's no defense here. There's no Nidus canal either. A Nidus canal just not being built. It's going to be very difficult for reinforcements to actually get down there. This could do a lot of damage here. He's not going in. Now he's going in. Going to be able to take down these drones. Most likely going to be able to take down the space. Might even get the Hydrogen as well. The Nidus even being cancelled. It looks like eOnzErG might just abandon this base. So very, very nice move here by Skzlime. As I was saying, this base was very vulnerable. Although interestingly, eOnzErG taking another base at the bottom left natural.
Yeah, I think that's a good move right there from Skzlime. He's interestingly landed his command center, his incredibly damaged command center over at the 3rd base location. So maybe he's going to be able to sneak that.
Oh no, the siege tanks! They're suiciding!
Oh no!
Oh my!
No, how many was that? Was that 2 that died or just 1?
I think it was just the 1, but oh man, this Guardian's gonna finish off the other one right now. It's getting repaired, but that's gonna be it. He needs an irradiate, but he's gonna irradiate. GG! Even though he's killed the 3rd, has nothing to deal with the Guardians. And eOnzErG takes game number 1.
eOnzErG looking good in game 1 there. I mean, his decision making was good. Even when it looked like his mutalists were taking a little bit too much damage, he seemed to know that he was on top of it, and he seemed to know what he could afford to lose, and kind of just trod that line very, very carefully. So well done to eOnzErG right there. Skzlime never really getting anywhere. He managed to make a little bit of a foray out on the map earlier on, but it didn't really happen for him. And I think the opening just seemed to throw him off a bit too much, whereas eOnzErG really, he looked like he had a plan.
Yeah, it's really funny. That game looked almost exactly like Game 3 between Skzlime and Michael in the semifinals, where even though Skzlime was in a decent position from the open, I think it was actually better because this time Skzlime held off the 9 pull without taking any damage, so he should have been in a good position from that point, and yet just with good Muta Micro, eOnzErG kept the Marine count low. He just didn't allow Skzlime to mass up an army. Because, of course, the Medic Marine kind of gets exponentially stronger as you get more and more.
Absolutely.
Like, in the low numbers, sub-1 control group, they're actually very, very, very weak, very easy to pick off. You need, like, you know, the 2-3 control groups, then it gets really scary for the Zerg. So by keeping those numbers low, he just kept forcing the Terran back, and yeah, just took it down, seemingly without too much trouble.
It was really, really nice from eOnzErG. Well, I can fault his play a little bit. It's Suicide who knows me to this somewhere
That
late
was a bit
in the
weird.
middle of the game. That was a bit surprising, and then this huge fight of Scourge comes in afterwards. It's a little bit of a confusing move, but it's okay. It works out for him, and he definitely did enough right there to deserve to take the win. So Skzlime's going to go 1-0 down so far, and let's see what he can come back with in game 2.
Indeed, we're going to have a quick break, and then we'll bring you guys game number 2.